Hello. I am going to discuss on the subject of schedule. Any student of law, any student of political science, any student of public administration or student of constitution will definitely have heard about the term called schedule. What is this schedule? And you know that our constitution has number of schedules. First thing is that, is it true that only constitution can have schedules? No. Constitution can have schedules, even a law can have schedule. So schedule can be with a law, schedule can be in the constitution too. Indian constitution definitely has number of schedules. Now what is this schedule? The schedule is the original text of the constitution contained 395 articles. Okay, you see that what is the schedule in the constitution? The original text of the constitution contained 395 articles in 22 parts and 8 schedules. It came into effect on January 26, 1950. It contains additional information. Okay, so schedule is something which contains additional information. Fine. It is part of the constitution, but at the same time, okay, it is not really the constitution. It is part of the constitution, but it is little away from the main body of the constitution. It's an annexure. Okay, and anything that you want to change in the schedule, like a constitution, it also requires an amendment. That is, it amounts to be a constitutional amendment. The number of articles has since increased from the 1950. It has been increasing always, and now we have 465 altogether articles. But original articles are 395. There are many sub-articles, okay, sub-clauses. Along with that, altogether volume is now 465 or 468 because every day it is increasing. But article there are 395, and now the parts have become not 22 but 25.
Hello everybody. You all have heard about different.
After the 144th Constitutional Amendment Act in 2020. It was approved by 2019 but became effective in 2020. Now what is schedule? Schedule is a list at the end of the constitution. It's a list. Okay, a schedule for the details out of something already mentioned in the constitution. So constitution has given it, but it requires further detailing. That detailing is done in a separate list, and that list is called schedule. Clear? A schedule is details of something which has got a mentioning in one or more articles of the constitution. So that, one schedule can cover more than one article. Not necessarily one article, but it can be, the many articles can be covered in a schedule. Not many means, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, different kind of things. Okay, schedule is not the constitution, but the part of the constitution. Schedule is not the constitution. Okay, schedule is a part of the constitution. So actual constitution is the article on which that schedule has been made. So these should be very, very clear. It is the part of the constitution, but not the main body of the constitution. But it requires similar process of Constitutional Amendment Act to make any changes in that. Now schedule is in Indian Constitution. What are the schedules? There are 12 schedules. Okay, and here you will get an idea that how 8 schedules are there and how the schedules have been added, and what are different articles are attached to different schedules. In one, what you call a table, I have compiled them. So list of states and union is 1 and 4 articles. Then list of salaries of officials holding public office, the number of, because states, union territories, different executive, legislature, judiciary, lot of people are there. So therefore number of articles are there, and all are, clubbed in one schedule, that is called schedule 2. And you see that first schedule was not there when the constitution came out. That is the list of the states and the union territories. Apply common sense, because at that time India was not the way we see it today. A lot of native princely states were there, and the states reorganization came from 1956 onward. Only a few states were there. So therefore at that time making the list of the states and union territories was not possible, because many of the union territories which you see earlier, they were the administrators or commissioners, territory. So therefore they have to be transferred, making Indian territory, all processes have to be gone. Therefore it came in 1956. So with 7th amendment this came out. This very very tricky information you should be very clear about. So first amendment, therefore definitely it was there from the beginning, not the correct answer. It is 7th amendment in 1956. Then number of amendments are there. Okay. So one of the amendments are there. You see that again allocation of seats in the Rajya Sabha to the states and union territories came in 7th amendment. Again you apply common sense. If there is no states, if there is no union territories, then how the representative of those states can be decided? So therefore it has to come along with when the territories or states and union territories are defined. So definitely therefore both of them have come with the 7th amendment. So therefore two schedules have been added with 7th amendment of 1956. One is the list of the states and union territories, another is the allocation of seats in the Rajya Sabha. These are all interlinked, you understand, it's a very common sense, and these are the tricky areas too. So now also we can get another inference from here that Rajya Sabha seats were not fully allocated to the states until 1956. So even though Parliament was there from the very beginning 1950, but seats allocation to Rajya Sabha, as we see it today, was done only in 1956 after the 7th Amendment Act. Next are other schedules. Okay, we see that the union, state and concurrent list of responsibilities, that was linked to 246. Okay, and you know that 1935 Act has detailed out these lists. So therefore there is nothing much controversy over it. That is nothing much work on this to do. So therefore it could be done, it could be included when the constitution was adopted. But validation of certain acts and regulations, you see that this is First Amendment Act. Okay, that is 9th schedule. Okay, 9th schedule may validation of certain acts and regulations. So that is 31B, and that has been done in way back in 1951. Why? Again you apply common sense. Many of the acts were enacted by the British government, by the colonial government, and many of the acts Indian government had to carry forward after the independence. Now those acts were colonial acts. That colonial acts have to be the acts of the independent India. So for that, they have to make an amendment. So therefore First Amendment makes that amendment, and accordingly the validation of certain acts and regulations come. But that time there is no 11th schedule. There is only 8th schedule. That means this number of the schedule was much earlier. Now this has been changed because in between there are other schedules came, and therefore it has been pushed into 11th schedule. Next is 52nd Amendment Act 1985, that is anti-defection provisions for the members of Parliament, because after 1985 means by the time we have completed around 45 years. Okay, 47 to 87 is 40 years, so around 35 years we have completed of our independence. And during this long period, particularly from 1960, mid-60s onward, a lot of regional parties came and different parties came. Then 1975 there is a Janata government, which is a coalition government. Okay, number of parties were there, and this is the time when defection of politics became a major issue in the country. Accordingly, in 1985 an amendment has been brought and anti-defection provisions have been inserted in the constitution, 102.2 and 191.2. So that means now that issue is coming and it is becoming the part of the constitution. Accordingly a schedule has come. So that is schedule number 10. Then 11th and 12th schedule, you all know that 73rd and 74th Amendment Act, through which local government or third tier of the federal unit has been introduced in the country. So accordingly 2 schedules have been incorporated. With this we got altogether 12 schedules in the constitution. I believe that you understand these areas. So therefore 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6. So 8 what you call earlier 8 and then and then another 6 altogether, we got around what you call 12. So of that, the 7th amendment has inserted 2, and 73rd amendment and 74th amendment, which came together, and that also inserted. So this way we got not 14 but 12 schedules. Fine. So this is what the total number of schedules that we have. Now what is the 7th schedule? Okay, 7th schedule is very important in the sense that presently the union list contains 100 subjects. Okay, and that means it has gone several amendments in different times. Originally it was 97, so three subjects have been included in that list. The state list contains 61 subjects. Originally it was 66, so 5 have been reduced from it, taken away from that. And the concurrent list contains 52 subjects. Originally it was 47, so it has also got another 5 articles, 45 items in that. So 8th schedule, it is language, recognized by the constitution originally. So the 8th schedule is called as language schedule. It had 14 languages, but presently there are 22 languages, and you see that how the number of languages have included. In 21st Amendment Act 1967, the Sindhi language was added, so therefore it became 15. Then in 1992, with the 71st Amendment, we got another, of 3 languages, Konkani, Manipuri and Nepali. It became 18 languages. Then in 92nd Amendment, we got in 2003, we got another 4 languages, which is Bodo, Dongri, Maithili and Santali. With all together, now we have 22 languages in 8th schedule. And each information, is very, very important, very, very tricky information. And please remember them. It can be very, very important to write a good answer. 9th schedule. It is incorporated in 1st Amendment, as I told you earlier, to protect the laws included in it from judicial scrutiny on the ground of violation of fundamental rights. Okay, so that is the 9th schedule was incorporated in 1st Amendment because lot of other acts were there that has to be recognized and their validity has to be accepted, or their validity has to be discarded. All things happened in the 1st Amendment, and what is to be brought within the judicial scrutiny of new independent India, all things have to be decided. Accordingly, 1st Amendment was introduced. Finally, in Coelho case, okay, this whatever 9th schedule is done, and then later on it has also been done in what you call, it's called Minerva Mill case, that is in 1980. And finally in Coelho case, please remember Coelho case is a very important landmark judgment on the case of basic structure doctrine or constitutional morality doctrine, where in Coelho case in 2007, the Supreme Court ruled that the laws included in this schedule after April 24, 1973 are now open to judicial review. Okay, that whatever laws included in this schedule, after 1973 in a particular date, all will be now subject to judicial review. That is the Coelho case decision. Fine. Then 10th schedule was added by the 52nd Amendment Act, okay, of 1985, popularly known as anti-defection law. So this is what is popularly known as anti-defection law. So if you get a question on anti-defection law, what is the link between anti-defection law and 10th schedule, then you can explain it accordingly. 11th and 12th schedule you all know, very popular, that is were added by the 73rd and 74th Amendment Act 1992, and this schedule has 29 matters for PRI. Be careful about that. It is not uniform. 29 matters have been given from the state list to the panchayat list, okay, and it is not here, but it is provision is made, but it may take some time. It is not, all the states have not yet able to execute it, but in the case of urban government, it is not 29 but only 18 matters. So that means while 29 in the case of the PRI, 18 in the case of urban government, that means 11 items are less for the urban local government. Fine. So be careful about these numbers and something, because when you are writing any answer on constitution, always be particular and specific. Now, at the same time, you must remember that, though we all call scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, that schedule is not related to the schedules that we have discussed now. This schedule is a different schedule. Okay. Now, they are not directly linked to the schedule of the constitution. But the constitution schedule caste, order 1950. Okay. This is a different, list that is scheduled. And then there is a 1950 order. And 1950 order finally has been discarded, and it has been made as the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes.
Hello everybody.
So once the act came in 1956, then order becomes
everybody
absorbed into the act. Now after some time, then 1989, okay, so around 23 years after 1956 act, 37 years, the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act came. So our scheduled caste and scheduled tribes are linked with these acts, not with directly with the schedules, but within the schedules. No, you can definitely go when there are many provisions here and there, but directly this schedule, there is no specific schedule for identifying caste and tribes in the 12th schedule that we have mentioned earlier. Okay, So thank you very much. So this is what is in brief to introduce or to talk about schedule. I believe that you have got some good information, and there are plenty of cases on the schedule issues. You can get any cases, dozens and dozens of cases on every schedules are there, including the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, and you can pick up any of the cases if you think that you want to mention about the judicial decisions on this subject also. So thank you very much. If you like it, please get back to us for further comments. So thank you.